Hello and welcome to ESL Revolution, everyone. I am your content creator and professor, Dr. B. Not a real doctor. How are you today, everyone? I hope you're doing very, very well. If you have not done so, hit the sub button, hit the notification button. We have class story content Monday, Wednesday, and Friday coming to you. We have class proficiency videos every Tuesday. And Thursday, I don't know what we're doing yet. Haven't decided. But stay subbed up because you will be receiving those notifications throughout the week. Big shout out today, of course, to Merlin Sortor, whose guide this video is based upon. I had an email conversation with him back and forth a few months back, and he gave me the go-ahead to use his guide as the platform for these videos that I'm doing, these class proficiency videos. So go ahead, check the description down below, and you will see them. This video is going to be touching on 3 specific things. We're going to be looking at gearing, stats, and energy management. Okay, so these are the same video setups that I did with the Sawbones healer and the medicine healer. That's for the scoundrel and the agent. Okay, and this video is obviously the trooper, and I'm going to be putting out another one not this week but next week for the bounty hunter healer, so that mirror class is there. So stay tuned for those videos. They are coming up. These videos, unlike my story videos where I do 30 to 60 minutes and then upload them, you're going to get all 3 videos as a single dump onto YouTube, so you can have access to all 3 of them. I'm not going to put out one video one day and then a couple days later put another video out. No, I'm going to put all 3 videos out so you will have access to them. Okay, let's get into it here. So we are first of all going to be looking at the gearing and stats. So let's just go right in. Oh no, not that one. I want this one. There we go. Okay, so this you'll get a sense of looking at the gearing and stats, and I want to go over what I have here. Again, I'm sure some of you playing this, you're going to have some slight, perhaps some slight stat differences based on how you align things. There is more than one way of playing this game, so hey, this is just one interpretive video for you. Now, let's get my page ready here. So let's look at our gear. So back in 6.1.2, we are now at 6.2a, I think. There was a kind of a refresh of the Tech Medic set in relation to this particular class proficiency, which of course is our combat medic. Okay, and its reworking was designed clearly to have this as the key set for us as healers. Now, before that time, you could actually look to concentrated fire as the healer set of choice, and it was based on the fact that they retuned Tech Medic so close to the kind of as they went through and realized that, well, maybe the original intention was to have Tech Medic as the key set, but the stats weren't quite there. I suspect that's probably what happened, and that's why the set got reworked. That's just a guess. I have no insight into this, but that's just my guess on why that occurred. Okay, so Tech Medic is our set. Now, what do we have here? We have, again, a 6-piece set, 4-piece bonus, energy, emergency medical probe becomes instant cast. Okay, so we have this one right down here. Now, summons a droid, revives an incapacitated ally. This ability is usable while in combat. When used, all party members can neither use nor be the target of an in-combat revival for 5 minutes, okay? Which basically means I can use this once every 5 minutes. Now, what is really, really nice about this is that if somebody's over here, they die, I can go over, hit that button, instant res. It's very, very nice. Now, I know that Merlin was suggesting that he would actually prefer something in the lines of a healing buff, but to be quite honest, I like these in combat reses, and I think it really helps us out a whole lot. That's just me personally, probably because I'm not the greatest healer and I do have people die on me. So maybe that's why I like it. Maybe that's why I like it. All right, so that's the first one. Second one here is, or the 6-piece bonus, Medshot leaves lasting meds on its target, restoring, in my case, 7,376 health over 18 seconds. What do I mean by that? Here's Medshot. So this is our quick one. Now you're seeing that I've got a little tick. Here's lasting meds right here. And I can refresh it. Now, this is actually quite similar, not exactly the same, but similar enough to the Culto probe that the Sawbones and the medicine line use for Operative and Scoundrel. So in that sense, there's some continuity between the Trooper class and the BA, the Bounty Hunter, and that other class. So it's got that nice little hot on there. 18 seconds is it 18 seconds? It says 18 seconds here. It might actually be less than that. I think it's 15 seconds. But you know, the fact that we can actually, it says 14 seconds. So I think the material that I'm looking at is actually incorrect here. This is nice because we can use those ticks. You know, we can have a couple of players. We can have our tank over here. Maybe one of the DPS is taking fairly consistent but low level damage. We can keep them topped off as we're going around. And of course, as you can see, that I am able to build my supercharge, the supercharged cell via my med shot. So it's actually able to do a little two things at the same time. So it's a very nice thing. Now, why is this set in particular the new kind of best in slot? The reason is primarily because of the changes to rocket fuel vapors. Okay, now, prior to 6.1.2, using the Culto bomb, okay, which is this one right here. Boom! There's the bomb. On a cooldown, would provide a super high uptime to supercharged cell. So the uptime on this would be much, much larger, and it had energy savings and a fair number of healing buffs in there. And your med shot really, in all honesty, didn't need to be used all that often. However, rocket fuel vapors was also impacted in that kind of redesign, and it is not best in slot anymore. And so because of that, people, it's not that it's bad, but typically it's just not used as much anymore. Do I even have it? I might. No, I don't have it on me. So yeah, that's kind of how the rework of the tactical and concentrated fire set bonus didn't allow for concentrated fire to and that tactical to continue to be used. Now, again, just like I said in the Sawbones medicine video, it is not a good idea to go around and try to keep this hot on as many people in your group. No. You don't want to be doing that. One in the tank would be good. One in yourself would be good. Maybe pick a DPS over here that's going to take some consistent damage. You know, 3 to 4 players having that tick will be just fine. Okay, so don't get too worked up about having to put a dot on everybody. Okay, it's not necessary. If you're in a flashpoint and there's only 4 of you anyway, then sure, you know, give 2 or 3 people that hot, but don't worry about don't get stressed out about it. Okay, don't get stressed out about it. Now, of course, this hot is not as high in terms of a Scoundrel healer, the Culto probe or whatever it's called. It doesn't run it doesn't tick as high, but don't worry about it, because any healing that we can do to kind of keep our players within a good range, I think is quite fine. So how does this set, and how does the tactical then, and how does that change affect how you do? Well, number one, you're going to be rotating, as I said before, you're going to be rotating med shot to a few different people in your team, because you want to be able to refresh that lasting meds. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. So you want to be doing that. Just a second. Yeah, so you don't want to, so I'm just checking my notes here while I'm doing it. So you don't want to be doing it to 7 or 8 people. It's just not necessary. But if you pick just a few people, a couple to 3 people that you think are going to be needing that little hot, then go to it. Okay. The best candidates obviously are going to be any of your tanks and most of your melee. Okay, if you've got melee, at least one melee that is taking more damage perhaps than others, this little tick can be helpful. The other impact that this has, and I'm going to be talking about this later, but I'll mention it, that is our heat management. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but it is something to keep in mind. Also, this kind of helps us to have some predictable healing going when we might get into an AoE damage situation. We can put those dots on 2 or 3 players to get your heat going, to make sure you've got healing going on a couple of people to kind of give you a little bit of a buffer when you know some of that damage is coming out. It is recommended that all healers use this set, unless, of course, the composition of your team is such where the healer is going to have to do a little bit of off DPS, in which case concentrated fire might do a better job because of the buffs for damage while you're still giving healing benefits. I would also suggest, of course, if you're doing that you want to be going with your cannon rather than your blaster rifle, of course, okay? Because some of your skills are bound, like this one here. Oh wait, is it this one? Just trying to remember here which one is. There's one skill here that is. Oh yeah, requires assault cannon. Okay, so it was the hail of bullets. So there is 1 or 2 skills you can see here requires assault cannon. So if you're in a position where you're using concentrated fire, you're running off hails, you're doing some damage, you're going to want to change out to assault cannon rather than your blaster rifle. Okay, I'm not going to talk about the I'm not going to talk about Concentrated Fire, or I'm not going to talk about Apex Predator. Okay, those are two other sets that are used by the troopers, but in terms of the combat proficiency of healer, those ones typically are not used. Okay, so I'm not gonna worry about those right now. Check the guide link below if you want to see those. Okay, there's another set that is used. It's called Restorative Drive. My understanding is I don't have this set. Okay, I don't have this set. Restorative Drive is potentially very powerful on fights with a lot of adds. Continuous waves of adds provides enough opportunities to get stacks of Restorative Drive and buffs to all your heals. Now, this set kind of, the way that it's worded here in the guide is that this set functions similarly to the Scoundrel and Medicine set that I talked about also. It's we have the Tacticians set is the main one, and then that second set that is, for some reason I can't, augmented something or other. Yeah, that set is primarily used when you're doing really heavy AoE healing, and you're using a lot of those AoE heals consistently to bolster healing on your group. That, I feel like this set is similar enough to that, that in some situations it would be a valuable set to have. Okay, so I do not have that set available with me right now. It's let's see, it's increased drop rate from Nature of Progress operation on Master Mode difficulty, and has a small chance from unidentified items on the Spoil of War vendors. Okay, so that's where you can get them. You might be able to buy these as well, just with your regular ones. I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me on it. Okay. Now, there are two options here for the tactical. So Running Restoration is one, and SC4 Treatment Scanner is the other. Both of these are very good tacticals. Okay, both of these are very, very good tacticals. Now, I know that Merlin really likes the Running Restoration, primarily because Advanced Medical Probe can be cast, while moving, and provides an additional 15% to your healing on Medical Probe. So this is a big one. Now, at present, I do not have enough tech fragments to get that. When I do, I'm going to add it to my... I'm going to add it right here. I'm going to take out those proficiency stims, and we're going to add that third one. I just don't have it available, so I am presently using SC4. Both of those are very good options, and I would suggest having both of them on you at all times, because depending on what you need in any given situation, those tacticals are the ones to be using. Now, why is that? Running Restoration is an ideal choice when on some fights and from certain playstyles. So because you are able to do things on the move, if you happen to be a fairly movement-oriented healer versus somebody who's more, I think more like me, who's more stationary, moving out of the way when I need to, but I'm not running around the field, if that's how you play, then I think Running Restoration is a better one for you. Again, each of those tacticals are very, very good. Okay, so it's you're not gonna. What I would probably do is I would test each one of those out yourself and see which one is better for you. Okay. So when should you take running restoration? Great fights that require high mobility, or where the key focus is a very high single target burst heal. Okay. When you're looking at SC4, it does provide you extra uptime on Supercharged Cell, which is this skill right here. From its extra stacks, which is very, very nice. So if you're looking at this, it says successive treatment for an additional 5%, and it generates supercharged stacks while channeled. Okay, up to 4 stacks for a complete channel. So let's say, okay, so here's my successive. So let's say I'm doing some of these here. Let's get up to 6. Okay, so now I've got 6 stacks here. Now, if I'm doing this, watch what happens. Boom. And now that takes me, so that gives me 4 of the supercharges. Once it hits to 10, then I can use a supercharged cell. So that, you know, again, it's something that you want to be playing around with. I would suggest having both of them on you so that you can decide which one is better for you. Okay. So yes, on the one side you're going to get more supercharge. On the other side you're going to get increased movement, and your advanced medical probe is not going to be channeled. So it's 6 one way, half dozen of the other, and I will leave the choice up to you. Now, as you can see here, I am running the MedTech amplifier. All of our healing is tech-based, and so because of that, MedTech is really a no-brainer. This will cause, this amplifier buffs both our Aoe Healing and our HOTS, and of course, it will provide us, you know, in terms of our single target healing. So it's going to help us across the board, no matter what heal we are using. So very, very good for us there. Okay, moving right along here. Let's talk about our stats. I think that's it for gear. You can see here, I'm going to leave the stat page open. You can see here that under the tech drop down here, just click on that. Let's do this. All right, so you can see here that I do have 4,643, almost 44 bonus healing. You'll also notice that I do have a little bit of accuracy. I am using the Proficient Stim, which gives me accuracy and crit, okay? Because I want that crit to give me a little bit of boost here, which is very nice. And of course, I have this disabling shot here, which is an interrupt, okay? And there may be times when I need to interrupt something, and this really does help to make sure that that interrupt does not miss. Again, very, very similar to the way I've got it set up, both on the operative medicine line and the scoundrel sawbones. Okay, crit chance 47, almost 40, yeah, 47.5% crit chance, which is wow, very, very nice. Love that there. You can see the skill buffs is 9%. That is coming from the MedTech. Now, here's something interesting. You'll see on my Amplified Champions headpiece, I've got a 0.4% MedTech that is part of the amplifiers. If you go down to the crit chance, you'll see that the skills and buffs, it does not register that 0.4%. So it's, instead of saying 9.40%, it just says 9. Now, my understanding is that that 0.4 is a part of it. It does help. It's just not registered. If somebody can comment about that below and confirm that for me, that would be great. But my understanding is it's not registered, but it counts. Again, confirmation on that would be very, very helpful. Crit multiplier, 72.2%. Now, you're also going to see that I have a fairly decent sized alacrity here, and that's because I have a decent skill bonus for my alacrity. Now, as is the case with my previous characters that I talked about on my Scoundrel Sawbones, not the operative, but on my Scoundrel Sawbones, I have the Zeal perk. Let me show you right here. I have this right here. Increases alacrity by 5% and has a small chance to grant an alacrity boost for 15 seconds after taking damage. Okay, that comes out of the perk system in the guild flagship, so I have that 15% bonus there, okay, which is why my alacrity is so high. The other reason why I'm running almost a 2000 alacrity is because I want to get to the point where I can have a 1.3 second global cooldown instead of 1.5, and that alacrity bonus allows that to occur. Okay, so here are the numbers for you. If you have the guild perk, if you have the alacrity perk, which gives you the 5%, you need 331 alacrity for the 1.4 second global cooldown. If you want the 1.3 second global cooldown, you need 1,895. Now you'll notice that I am running 1940 here, so I am 45 alacrity over. I don't care. That's fine for me. Okay, it's just the way the numbers ended up working out with the way that I geared, but pay it no mind. If you do not have the guild perk, okay, if you do not have the guild perk, I would recommend not trying to get the 1.3 global cooldown, okay? It is going to cost you 3,207 alacrity, which means you're going to have almost nothing for critical chance, and you as a healer are not going to be efficient, so don't even bother. If you do not have a guild perk, then go with the 1.4 global cooldown, and you will need 1,213 in order to do that. Okay, so the reason why I keep, the reason why I have my alacrity set up as it is because of that guild perk. Now remember, the guild perk does not work with parsing, and it does not work with Nightmare Ops or I believe PvP. Okay, so keep those things in mind, but it is there for a good portion of the game nonetheless. Okay, I think we're doing pretty good there. I'm just trying to see if there's anything. Oh yes, augments. I have 2 augments that these 2 right here. These 2 augments are with alacrity. I use 3 alacrity pieces plus 2 alacrity augments, and that gets me my 1940. Okay, and everything else that I've got in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, these other 11 pieces all have a critical augments in them. Okay, so this has got critical. Oh, that's got alacrity. That has alacrity. I didn't realize that. Okay, that's got an alacrity. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces plus the 2. All right, there you go. That makes more sense now. And then the rest of these are critical. So once you hit that threshold, once you hit that break point, you for your alacrity, you want to dump all of your other stats into critical. Okay, so once you get to that break point, either 1.4 second or 1.3 second, bonus or non-bonus, then you dump everything else into critical. Okay, last thing that I want to talk about before we finish up the video today, because this is going so far at 30 minutes. What I want to talk to you about is power and how you manage your power as a healer and what you can do. Number one, do not go below 60% cell unless you have, where is it? Where's my power one? Where's the power? Hang on, I'm just trying to find it here. Right. Recharge cells. Sorry, I couldn't remember what it was called. So don't go under 60% power unless you have a recharge cell available. Okay, if you're in trouble, you're trying to pop up some heals to your tank and really hit that single target, no problem. But be very, very careful. If you start going below 60%, your energy rate is going to be really bad. It's just it's going to blow basically, and it's going to be very hard for you to get that back. So that's what I would recommend doing there. Now, recharge cell is 50 cells over 3 seconds. However, as I talked to, it's not abilities, sorry, it is, if you're taking the cell capacitor, which is, I don't think where is it here? I gotta find it. Cell capacitor. Cell capacitor, there we go. So unless you've got the cell capacitor, this gives you an additional 15. So you have 65 rather than 15. Now you notice that I've got this here, but it only says 50 on the toolbar. Okay, but I do have this. It is 65. Okay, that might be a bug or something like that. I'm not sure. Let me see if I'm not going to worry about that. That's fine. So it's there. It's there for you. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing that you want to be considering when you're kind of dealing with power and healing, reserve power cell, that is this skill right here. This skill right here. Reserve power cell should always be used on successive treatment and can enable the substitution of 1 to 2 medical probes or other energy costing abilities instead of medshot. Recharge skill should be used around 30 to 35% energy. Okay, so this one, reserve power cell, should always be used on successive treatment. All right, that's this one right here. Why is that? Because it has a high energy as you are channeling it, so it's a good way to negate that. Okay. So when you're around 30 to 35%, then you can use reserve power cell. Your next ability depletes no energy. Okay, depletes no energy. So you hit this, you hit your successive treatment, and it's not going to burn out your energy. What do I mean? Let's do this. Hit that one there. And there's my bar. You see, it didn't even move. Nothing there. Okay. So this is where you need to have, if you're in, a single target situation, you're running really low. You can hit this one. It costs you no energy, but it allows you to get your tank up a little bit higher, and then gives you a little bit of space there to help yourself out. Utilize supercharged cell on cooldown in most circumstances to enable the spamming of advanced medical probe. Supercharged cell helps with energy management and makes advanced medical probe spammable for 8 seconds. Okay, so here's advanced medical probe. Now you can see here it costs 20. Okay, costs 20. Now let me do this here. I'm going to get this back up to 10. Okay, now I'm going to do that one more time. Boom. Okay, so you can see there that it does take a little bit of energy, but the thing is, it's not going to cost you nearly as much, and you're able to kind of like not necessarily regen, but your energy is not going to go down. Now, the other thing you can do with Supercharged Cell is you can use your you can use this one here. Again, just use your med shot. It's instant. You're not using any energy, and so in AoE situations, healing situations, Supercharged Cell should be utilized on cooldown just for energy regeneration properties. So if I put this up here, just make sure I get this up and running. There we go. Okay, so here, convert stacks to supercharge, recharge 10 energy cells, and increases my healing by 10%. So if my energy cells are running down a little bit, I can use this to give me an instant 10. That really helps. Okay, one combination that you can use here that is very energy efficient is your Bacta infusion and your advanced medical probe. You can use these two things together. I have Bacta and advanced here side by side as a 4 and 5 skill. The reason is because of the passive abilities of emergency responder and field triage. This combo is basically instant. Okay, you can see that there, instant and basically instant, and it provides you a very strong burst heal. Okay, so if I hit this one, now I hit, you see how it changes it to instant? It used to have a cast time. Then I can hit that one. And those two skills in combination is a really nice burst heal, and it does not really cost me anything at all. It is fantastic, those two together. Okay, very nice combination. Another thing that you can do in terms of energy management, utilize med shot and medical probe on a 1-to-1 basis if energy cooldowns are unavailable. So what does that mean? Whenever Bacta infusion and advanced medical probe are on cooldown, and your only choice for single target heals are med probe and med shot, in these circumstances you'll need to alternate medical probe and med shot to keep your energy at a decent level. Okay, so we have med shot here, and we have medical probe right here. Okay, so I'm going to do 4, and I'm going to do 5. Okay, and I'm going to hit my med probe. It's using energy. Then I'm going to hit my med shot. Then I'm going to hit this. 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 I'm going to hit this. You see that my energy in that period of time is basically 0. I'm using energy, but it's coming back very quickly. So those are four skills that you can use in combination with each other to provide healing to your team that can really make sure that your energy management is being well utilized. Okay, so I did talk a little bit about some combos there. I'm going to touch on a couple of other ones. Trauma probe. Okay, deploys a trauma probe with 6 charges that lasts up to 3 minutes. Okay, so this is the 6 charges of your supercharge. Okay, let me just let that wear off, and then you can use med shot to get those other 4 up. and running. Okay, so you can start. There's 7. And this has 7 charges. And so whenever damage is taken, this is especially good for your tank. It lasts for 3 minutes. Whenever your tank gets hit, this is going to provide a little bit of a heal on that tank right away. So it gives you, you can start off with this, and then you want to be starting off with this as well. So you want to get your trauma probe, and you want to get your ticks started before combat. Back to infusion, advanced medical, supercharged, tech override, advanced medical probe. All right, I'm not going to go too much in because the video is going longer. What I would recommend, however, is checking out Merlin's guide, because in this guide he gives 2 or 3 kind of combination scenarios where you can, one of them will be with recharge cells, one of them will not be. And so you can, it gives you a really nice setup for utilizing your healing skills in a single target versus an AoE. Now, my 1 to 12, this is a single target scenario, right? This is a single target scenario right here. This one right here, my S1 to S12, this is AoE healing. So I've got these skills set up in a way on my bar that I know, okay, I'm in an AoE healing, I need to go to this one. Boom, 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 boom. And I can go through, hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just go through this, and it will allow me to AoE heal. But if I'm in a single target situation, I would be using this setup here. Again, go check out the notes that he's made. It gives explanations and descriptions of what I've done here on my bars, and I would highly recommend taking a look at that as well. Okay, anything else here? I'm just looking at this. I talked about that. Okay, tech override, there's one. Be careful about using tech override when you're low on energy. The instant cast front loads the energy cost. So if you drop below 60%, then you will regen less energy in that global cooldown, and your timing, bad timing, can affect that energy regen. Let's take a look at the skill here. Your next ability used within 15 seconds with an activation time will activate instantly and then grant you immunity to pushback and interrupts for 6 seconds. But where you place this within the context of your energy management is very, very important. So be aware of that skill. Yes, it does provide you with an instant heal, basically, or not an instant, yeah, an instant heal, activate instantly. But it's one of those things that if you're low on energy, you want to be careful with, okay? You do want to be careful, because if you're below 60% and you hit this, and then you hit your really big heal, it's going to knock out some decent energy, and you're going to find yourself being behind the 8 ball a little bit in energy management. So do be aware of that. The other thing, of course, is making sure that you're talking with your healer before you go into your fights, so you can kind of coordinate who's going to take up what role. Maybe you've got another commando healer, and they're going to be responsible for the AoE stuff, and I'd be responsible for the single target on the tank, perhaps, or vice versa. This is all stuff that you can work out ahead of time, and be communicating during the fight in game, so that it's like, hey, I need help over here, switch over, and you can just keep those things, keep that line of communication between you and the other healer. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Commando healing is finished. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to give you a nice salute because you stuck around, and I do appreciate all of that. I hope you appreciated this video. Again, sub up, hit the notification, check out the link with Merlin and his guide. I'm sure there's something that I've missed. Hopefully there's not. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, may the Force be with you. See you in game. Have a great day. Bye-bye.